there. Here we are one more time with Come On Out by David Leddick. And I'm David Leddick. And today I have with me David Vance. Mr. David Vance is a great pal of mine. He's a very famous photographer. He's quite good looking, as you can see. At any rate, today he has consented to answer some questions. We'll see what he says. David, our first question is, when did you realize that maybe you like guys better than gals?
Well, I kind of remember when I was about 5 years old, being in the train station with my mother, and was quite drawn to a young man in uniform. I didn't recognize what it was, and I didn't think anything about it, but looking back, I do remember that occasion, so I was drawn to men at an early age.
Did you speak to him, or did you just see him?
No, I just saw him.
Yeah.
I think I kind of went over and hung around him or something.
Yeah.
Get over here.
You're not getting out of this that easy. Tell me this. So when did you first? And I don't mean this sexually, but when did you first kind of do something that you feel registered your attachment to another guy?
I think it probably was sexual. I don't remember any other attachment. I probably was avoiding the whole idea until I met someone, and when I was in college.
You were how old?
I was 19.
Do we think that you didn't fool around at all before then?
I may have fooled around like 12 with a cousin, or that sort of thing that doesn't really register as anything serious.
Yeah.
I mean, that kids do.
But that was a sort of real commitment gesture at 19. Like, I'm definitely interested in this guy.
Yeah, right.
And when would you say that you kind of officially said, okay, I'm gay, this is it, the world's got to accept it? Or have you?
I don't know. I definitely
Maybe you haven't.
I have. Probably shortly thereafter. I don't know if I came out to the whole world, but to myself, I think I probably.
But very often, a lot of people say it's when they told their parents. They said, "Okay, this is it."
I knew well before I told my parents. Yeah. But I was gay, but then I had girlfriends in between lovers, and then I think finally, maybe when I finally got together with Kyle in the late '70s, I think probably I was more serious and
this is it.
And gay at that point.
And I thought a question I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask Kyle too. Has being gay really had any negative effect on your career?
Oh, yes.
Has
Without a doubt. Oh, yes.
Tell me.
Well, because of being in South Florida and doing what I do.
David is really a fantastic photographer.
I just think being gay and being a photographer in South Florida at the time when I started was difficult because all of the art directors were straight, and they all you hang out with them and go to bars and go to strip clubs.
But in New York, most art directors are gay.
You see, and it's a different environment. But
I didn't know that. Yeah.
So it kind of went very, very, very slowly. And it's funny because the gay art directors, the few that there were, I think if they were aware that people knew that I was gay, they might not hire me because
they didn't want association.
Yeah, they didn't want that connection.
What's interesting?
And then the straight ones, of course, you're not on the same level as them because you're not going to football games and titty bars. So.
Yeah. And what about now?
Now I'm semi-retired.
No, but I mean, if you're, because a lot of this we have young people that are watching.
Yeah.
I mean, I myself, I think if you're officially gay and you're a fashion photographer, I don't think.
No, I don't think
the world in general is going to have much
the world in general is just so much more accepting because of all of the media coverage, and it's generally a lot more accepting.
No, it's true, because even I'll go on camera to say this, major people like Richard Avedon, who's always officially straight. I mean, I still run across him in places around New York where straight people didn't go. And but he really is, kind of preceded. He was immediately post-war, and at that time, and he was married, he had children. Right. But his daughter-in-law sued him, for the children's pictures of the book. Oh, yeah. He had to reprint the entire book because he had taken nudes of his grandchildren, and she said no way, right? And yet they had to pull that book out of the market and reprint the entire thing, take the pictures out. So, you know, this is
Well,
stuff.
he never came out.
Never. But at that time, you know, there were people like Scapullo officially out.
Oh, yeah.
And they had their market. They had art directors who would work with them, but there were art directors who wouldn't.
Right.
You know, so it's interesting. Okay, this has been a really good interview. Thank you, David.
My pleasure.
All right, ciao.